Om Shanti. Good evening. Welcome, everyone. Is the voice audible?
Om Shanti. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you.
Om Shanti. So, until now, we have realized who I really am. So, we have understood that we are not just these physical bodies or roles, but we are the eternal light that stays within this body. We are all souls. And we've understood that the moment we become aware of this beautiful energy, our thoughts shift from waste or negative to positive. We suddenly begin to operate from our original nature, original sanskars. We've understood that the faculties of the soul are mind, intellect, and sanskars. And the journey in meditation is to get beyond our acquired sanskars of body consciousness and tap into the original and eternal sanskars of soul consciousness. You've understood that this world is a stage and that we souls have come here as actors to play our roles. And our eternal home is in a dimension of silence. It's a dimension that is beyond space, beyond time, where all of us souls rest eternally. Just like we saw in meditation, it's like the journey from the physical into the incorporeal. In our life, two words that govern most of our lives. The first word is I, and the second word is my. My or mine. So we've understood who am I, and today we will understand and experience who is mine. And who is the one whom I can really say is mine. In our life, when we were children, our sense of mine was different. As we grow up, that sense changes. And as I was growing up, once I realized that the moment I, the soul, leave the body, then whatever the sense of mine I have, my body, my home, physical home, my possessions or my relationships, all of that in an instant, it's kind of, all of that is erased. And when the soul takes a new body, then all of this, which is a part of the story, it starts again in a new way. So to think of all of that as mine is an illusion. And the more I think of my body, my role, my possessions, my relationships as mine, it creates sense of attachment. And that is what brings the soul into bondage, sorrow, and pain. And when I realize who really is mine eternally, and when I realize my eternal relationship with that being and experience it as I'm living in this life, then it's like the life is of being free, detached and loving. So the moment I realize that there is a higher source, there is a supreme being who is my eternal parent, and I eternally belong to that being, and all of us eternally belong to that being. And the only permanent relationship that the soul has is with the Supreme Soul. Then, because of that relationship, my mind is filled with that unconditional love and power of the Supreme. And when I am full, then when I come into the physical in my role, then all those qualities start to emerge in my interactions in this physical world. And so this realization of my relationship with the divine, with the supreme, is the basis of Raja Yoga meditation. So relationship with God, learning how to forge a loving relationship with God in meditation. And the word relationship is beautiful. So first we understand who the Supreme is, then we establish a connection. Means we are able to connect. Then we are able to communicate. And after we have communicated, then slowly and gradually we start to develop a relationship. A relationship is a very personal relationship which gives a sense of fulfillment to the soul. And then I don't need to find support in people or things of the world outside. And so God or the Supreme Being becomes my strength and my support. And my life takes on a whole new different meaning. So prayer is when you talk to God. Meditation is when you listen to God. So meditation is more like a two-way communication. The word listen and the word silent are very closely connected. When my mind becomes silent, then I can listen to God. It's just like tuning my mind to God's frequency is meditation. Just like radio has a lot of channels and electromagnetic waves are all spread everywhere. And the moment I tune in to a particular channel by tuning the frequency of the receptor, then I'm able to suddenly listen to whatever is being shared in that channel, through that channel. And so meditation is also that process of very gently tuning the frequency of my mind from the physical, from the role, from the story, to the subtle, to the silent, to the frequency of God. And then suddenly I begin to experience that I am loved, that I am understood, that I belong to that one, and have a beautiful relationship with that one. So meditation is listening to God. And it's a beautiful experience. It's a beautiful experience. And that transforms me from within, deep within. And it can happen in a very simple way, deep way, and very fast. You don't need a lot of time. The moment I begin to feel that connection, then very easily I'm able to shift my awareness to the soul consciousness perspective easily. And when I have this relationship, then I automatically begin to remember God. Who is God? God is the parent of the soul. Just as the soul is a point of light, eternal light, in the same way, God, the Supreme, is also a point of eternal light. The only difference is we souls come into the physical, come into the body, come into the role, and when we come into the role, we forget our reality. But God never forgets his reality. So God doesn't have a body. So he never comes into an illusion. He always stays in the truth. And so this relationship with God is more than just faith. It's actually very true, a living connection, like live connection, live. Just like we are communicating, we can easily communicate with God. The moment I begin to realize and connect to God without the costume of this role, just like if I have an electric wire and I want the current in that electric wire to flow in a different electric wire, I combine both of the wires. But before combining, I'll peel off the insulation. So when I peel off the insulation and I connect, then the current begins to flow. So in the same way, the insulation is of the role, is of the body. So the moment I remove this insulation, so I think of myself as a spiritual being, as a being of light, separate from this body. Then I'm able to feel the current that is coming from the eternal light into the soul. And then meditation is a very simple act of remembrance. So I'm just remembering. Just like a mother remembers her child naturally. A child remembers his parents naturally. A friend remembers his friend naturally. In the same way, I remember God naturally. So the key word is remember me alone. Alone. So when I completely focus, when I forget everything of this story and just remember myself in my eternal form and the Supreme Soul, then I'm very easily able to connect and experience that unconditional love. People who have near-death experiences, they share that after they felt leaving from the body, they suddenly felt the presence of this being of unconditional love. And just that feeling was so overwhelming that they just felt that that being loves them, that being understands them, accepts them the way they are. And so meditation is a similar experience. So the moment I forget this world of form and matter, I can easily remember and connect to the divine. We have a short clip of people who have had near-death experiences and how they have felt the presence of the Supreme God. So we'll just play that clip for a couple of minutes.
The being of light that these patients often describe encountering is plainly a personal being. They say that they are in the presence of a being of complete love who accepts them and loves them totally, and who has a wonderful personality, is very knowledgeable about them, very wise, very helpful, also has a wonderful sense of humor.
This is the most wonderful part of it. This is a warm, loving light. It's the most masculine, but it also has overtones of mother love, sisterly love. This just pulsates around. He has totally accepted me and forgiven me for everything I've ever done, but can I forgive myself for some of these selfish things I have done?
She took on all the pain and all the suffering with total understanding of what had brought me to that point. And it was like we were intertwined, and that everything that I felt, she felt too. And there was this unconditional love, like most parents have for their children, that no matter how bad I might have been, or that I was totally loved and totally understood, because she understood the motivation behind what I did. There was this togetherness, this empathy that she had for me, and just wonderful love.
And sitting there wondering what to do next, when suddenly that room became flooded with light. And then three things happened simultaneously, just like that. Something deep inside of the spiritual being sitting on the side of the bed looking at the corpse lying in the bed was told to stand up here in the presence of the Son of God. Out of that light stepped the most amazing being I have ever been in the presence of, the most powerfully built male I have ever seen.
To my right, I saw a being coming toward me. In those days, I had never heard of the death experience or ever had it described to me, so I had no idea how to relate to it. Since then, I've heard people describe it as God or Jesus or Moses or lots of different names, a great angel. I believe that this being of light was my higher self, the greater part of me, looking at the part of me that just experienced this life. As this being, because this being, I was so comfortable with this being and so assured that only if someone knew themselves and knew the love of God in them, then they could have that same relationship with themselves. And it was as if this being had come to be with me.
And now, once being in the presence of a being who knows everything about you, to know that he totally accepts you and totally loves you, I never want to leave this being again.
So this presence of this being of love, pure acceptance is very real. And especially in these times of transition as a humanity that we are going through, it is all the more important to really feel that eternal, loving, unconditional connection with that Supreme Being. We may call him with any name, but the experience of that love that we can get through meditation is what is, I would say, the most important aspect of our life at this time. To really feel that love coming from the divine and just saturate my being with his presence. So let us take a few moments to experience this journey of remembrance. Let us all feel that for a few moments There is nothing of the physical world that belongs to I, the soul. I am a being of light beyond the physical, and nothing of the physical is really mine. Neither the body, nor the role, nor the relationships, nor the possessions, but just I, the soul. I forget the physical and I begin to experience the presence of the parent of the soul. The supreme, the divine. All my relationships are with that being. He's a point of light, just like me. But his light is filled with unconditional acceptance, divine, merciful love, compassionate heart. I just feel that presence in a very natural way. I feel as if I am being soaked in the light of the spiritual sun. And all his love, all his powers, all his treasures naturally belong to me. I have a right on him. And he has a right on me. He knows me personally. He knows me completely. He understands me more than anybody else. In God's presence, I feel light. I feel at ease. I feel comfortable. I feel secure, safe. I feel complete. I feel full. And with that experience, I come back into this body, into the physical. Om Shanti. This The simple journey of remembrance and meditation acts like fire. So we call it the fire of meditation. Just like when I focus the rays of the sun through a lens at a pinpoint of a paper, paper starts to catch fire. It's like the rays of the sun were there, but once I focus them at a point, then the energy kind of explodes. In the same way, I use my mind and intellect to focus God's energy, God's power. And then what happens is any negative or wasteful thoughts, they just burn away. And our deeply ingrained sanskars or impressions that we saw in the last session that influence the mind, they are able to get absolved. So we call it the fire of yoga, or the fire of remembrance, or the fire of meditation. The biggest help that I can give to myself at this time is to experience this fire of meditation. Just like a bulb needs to be connected to a battery through the wires to get ignited, in the same way, when I connect to the spiritual battery, connect to the Supreme Soul, then it recharges my battery. And then my mind just lights up. I'm able to feel very, very light and easy. So what I need to do is to just focus on creating the right connection of the wire. So I connect through the wire of my thoughts to the Supreme, and then His energy lights me up. God is also the spiritual magnet. The spiritual magnet. Just like a magnet attracts iron towards it. And how does it attract? It transforms the orientation of the atoms. So before the magnet, the orientation is all random. But in the magnetic field, they all get aligned in one direction. And in the same way, the mind may be just wandering around. But the moment I feel the presence of God, my mind just aligns towards Him. And when I begin to soak in and absorb His love, then I feel empowered. And then I can also become like a magnet to then channelize energy in the world. So God is the spiritual magnet. A very easy way to look at this whole practice of meditation is to look at everything in the physical story in the form of a box, which we call as drama. Drama has a lot of scenes, a lot of twists and turns, suspense. All of that is contained within the box. So my story, your story, everyone's story, the story of the entire humanity is contained within this box. And I just watch it from a distance as a detached observer, and I bring the Supreme in between myself and the box. So I make the Supreme big and make the drama small. In my mind, I just like, we zoom in and zoom out. We're all using Zoom right now. But the moment we zoom out, it's like everything becomes small. So in my mind, I zoom out of the story and zoom into God. I zoom into the Supreme Soul. And when I zoom into Him, then His presence is alive, real experience for me. And then He becomes like a filter in between me and the drama. And so I don't create any bondages or karmic accounts with the drama. So I feel whatever I'm interacting to the drama is passing through the filter of God. And whatever is coming from the drama, the energy coming from the drama, I'm seeing as God is seeing it. So meditation is very simply just a very easy way to zoom into God's energy and His presence in my life. And then any situation which may seem to be very big in the drama, through this practice experience, it looks very, very small. The mind can make small things big and big things small. So through meditation, I can easily make things that seem very big into very, very small. And I can make the soul and God big influence in my life. And so I need to spend time every day to strengthen my relationship with God. And this is what we practice every day in meditation, is to strengthen this relationship with God. So I feel God is my father, my mother, my teacher, my guide, my friend, my companion. In different relationships, let me experience God. So just like a mother nurtures her child, God's loving energy nurtures my heart, nurtures the soul. Just like a father gives his inheritance to his child, God's inheritance is purity, peace, love, happiness. Just like if there is a family, a couple and a child, and they have a car in their garage, when the child invites his friends at home, the child says, "Look at this car, this is my car." Although the car actually belongs to his father or mother, officially, but he says it is my car. Why? Because he is their child. So whatever belongs to the parents automatically belongs to the child. In the same way, whatever belongs to the Supreme automatically belongs to me. And so through meditation, I feel I belong to each and every being in this world, because everyone is a child of God. And that's why it is called detached and loving. To the extent that I am detached from the role and connected to the Supreme, then I can be loving to each and every soul. So building this relationship. There's a nice story that once there was a king, and he was very generous, He said, for one day, anyone who comes to my palace can pick up whatever they want to, and it will belong to them. Whatever you touch, it belongs to you. So many people came and they were taking things. And a small child came, and the king looked at the small child, and he was curious to see what the child would touch. There were ice creams, chocolates, toys, so many things. But the child would feel tempted, but then at the last moment, he didn't touch them. So the king asked his minister to keep an eye on the child and let him know what he touches. So the king then gently just sits on his throne, and then he sees the child approaching him, coming closer, 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 and suddenly the child touches the king. And when the child touches the king, then the king belongs to the child. And so whatever the king has automatically belongs to the child. So a direct connection to God makes my life very, very easy. And then don't really need to work on any other thing. Like many times, even if I have felt that there is something that I need to work on, maybe in my interaction with someone, or the way I think about something, if it is making me feel heavy, if I just focus on my relationship with God, many times I've experienced is when I intensify my relationship with God, then any other relationship automatically gets fixed and becomes beautiful. It becomes loving. So I don't need to really work on fixing things outside, but I need to fix my relationship with God inside. And that fixes my life automatically. So all the work is not on an external level, but on a very internal level. And because subtly, we are all connected together, all of us in the world. And we are all connected because we are all children of God. So the moment I make my relationship with Him very strong, then I automatically feel that I have a beautiful relationship with every person. So to bring God in every aspect, my family, let me feel that these are God's children. My home, let me feel this is God's home. My belongings, my possessions, let me feel these are God's. And I'm just a trustee, means I'm just an instrument. God has given it to me. And then I feel very, very light. Then any problem in my life, I just upload it to Him. I say, you take care. It is your problem because you are responsible. So in meditation, when I invoke God's energy in my every action, then I'm creating a beautiful karmic connection, relationship with God. Then God becomes responsible for my life. Then I don't need to worry about anything. And God becomes in charge of my life. I don't even need to worry about wasteful thoughts or negative thoughts. Many times I'll say in meditation, God, you just take care. Okay, today my meditation isn't that good. I don't know, but you take care. And then suddenly I'll feel a rush of that God's love, and then everything waste just finishes and you're soaked in that beautiful feeling. God is all powerful. And so being His child, I just feel all powerful. And this is a very beautiful and easy way of Raj Yoga meditation, is to develop this living connection, relationship with God. So let us just experience a few moments to experience this personal relationship with God. So I sit back and gently reflect on the different relationships in my life. And let me pick and choose one relationship that I want to experience with God. It could be the relationship of a mother, a father, a friend, a companion, a beloved, a child, a teacher, any relationship. Let me just feel God in that relationship. I'm eternally connected to Him in that relationship. I just upload any problems or heaviness to Him, and I download His powers, His energy. Any problem, if it is bothering my mind, let me hand it over to Him. Let me feel that His light is illuminating my mind, my life, my heart. And every day, let me take time to experience and strengthen the bond of this relationship. Let me take time out every day to experience this relationship with God. We just look at different stages in meditation. Meditation is very simply remembering who I am and who is mine. So we start with relaxation, just relaxing the body, relaxing the mind, just coming into the present, just creating this time and space to just sit and meditate. It's called relaxation. And then the next step or stage is to contemplate. I begin to contemplate. I begin to contemplate on my eternal identity. I begin to contemplate about God and my connection, relationship with Him. I begin to contemplate about my eternal journey beyond this physical story. And after I've spent some time in contemplation, then all my thoughts naturally get focused. The next stage is concentration. So in concentration, I'll feel that there is no other thought about anything else but about I, the soul, and the Supreme. And once I have concentrated fully, then the last stage is called realization. So in realization is when I have the aha moment. It's like the boiling point when the form changes. It's like when I begin to experience the world of God, the world of soul. And I feel a deep inner transformation within. So I just need to be a little patient in my journey through meditation. So I just make a time to meditate, I relax, and then I begin to contemplate. And naturally I concentrate, and the last stage is to realize. It happens in a very natural way, very natural. So meditation is a very, very simple, easy process. It all depends on my interest. And so I can bring newness in meditation every day. Like I can choose different themes to contemplate. For example, one day I can choose to experience the soul as a peaceful being. Then I start to contemplate, what does peace really mean to me? When did I feel peaceful in my life? What image comes to my mind when I think about peace? Why is peace my natural nature? Why being peaceless is something that is of the external world? What does it take for me to experience my original nature of being peaceful? So it's like I'm going deeper, deeper, deeper. It's just like I'm, creating, going deeper, like my roots are going deeper. Then I have this hold on these spiritual thoughts. Another day I can think of God as my friend and just experience and just feel, what does a friend really mean? How can I fulfill my relationship of a friend to God? How can I help God? Can I help God by just helping His children? Just being kind and nice to everyone I meet? Just by having loving thoughts towards everyone? What does friendship really mean? A deep sense of just comfort, a level of comfort. So in this way, every day, I can experience newness in meditation. And it becomes a beautiful, fascinating journey. And then we reach a stage where meditation is a natural part of my life, and which we call as karma yoga. Karma yoga is, even if I am performing any action, I'm naturally aware of myself and Supreme. And through the practice of meditation, we begin to fill our life with 8 powers. So what are those 8 powers? We'll briefly discuss. So when I'm soul conscious and God conscious, who am I and who is mine? And experience that power in meditation coming from the divine, then I emerge my 8 powers. And these are the 8 powers. The power to withdraw, just like a tortoise. A tortoise withdraws his senses from the external and then stays inside the shell. So I can easily withdraw my mind from external situations and just focus with him. Power to withdraw. Power to pack up. Yeah, power to pack up is like traveling light in the journey of life. To be able to pack up all that is important, my qualities, to always have my qualities, and to also pack up all the waste thoughts and put them aside in a corner. Power to tolerate, just like a child throws a stone on a tree, the tree gives fruit in return. So to be positive, even if I'm at the receiving end of negativity. Power to accommodate, just like an ocean accommodates all the rivers and all the debris that is coming through the rivers. Let me accommodate weaknesses of every person. Let me not look at anyone's weakness. Just accept and absorb and accommodate. Power to discern, so I can choose, I can identify this is right, this is wrong. All these powers are needed in my day-to-day life. Power to judge my own self. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? How do I make decisions and follow through in my life? There's power to judge. Power to judge comes when the mind is still clear, just like a balance. When it is stable, then it can measure the weight. It's power to judge, power to face. right now, we have to invoke the power to face. And there are many situations all around us, but when I realize that I am eternal, every soul is eternal, then I suddenly have the power to face. Power to face comes from faith in myself, faith in the divine, and faith in the drama that everything is predestined for our benefit, and power to cooperate with one another in a very loving way, power of teamwork. So all these powers are very important in my day-to-day life. And the moment I experience God in meditation, all these powers naturally emerge. I don't really have to work on these powers individually, but they naturally emerge in my life. So today we finish our session with this little experience in meditation to emerge my innate powers. So let me feel I, the being of light, I'm soaking in the rays of the Supreme Being. And my innate powers are emerging. I'm able to withdraw from any expansion and stabilize in the essence. The essence of eternal truth. I'm able to pack up anything that is waste away and carry lightness in the journey of life. I identify my specialities, my strengths, and carry them in my life. My heart is so generous and big that I have love for every soul, and I can easily tolerate, just like a mother tolerates anything for her children. I emerge the capacity to tolerate, even if I am at the receiving end of negativity. And I can accommodate every person, every soul, just like God accommodates. I can discern what is right, what is wrong, what is true, what is false. I can judge my strengths, my weaknesses, and make a decision for self-transformation. I can face any hardship in life with my eternal perspective of seeing everything as a game and not taking things personally. And when I have love, I can easily cooperate with everyone and also cooperate with God in his task of world transformation. So I feel that I have all these 8 powers very naturally in my life. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Thank you everyone for joining, and we open it up for you to please share your thoughts and any questions that you may have. Please feel free to share. Anyone?
Thank you, Saurabhai. Very beautiful session. Uh, a question that we had, Saurabhai, was the powers also that we have, the 8 powers. Those powers are getting more and more refined as we go deeper in the meditation, right? As we further progress, like the power of discerning and the power of judging our own strengths, weaknesses, the tolerance. That is also an indication of how much our yoga is, how deep is our meditation.
Yeah. So I'll begin to experience these powers naturally through the meditation. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I'll feel that in any situation, whatever power is needed will automatically emerge.
Yeah.
Situation, sometimes it is needed to face something. Sometimes it's needed to tolerate. So depending on the situation, I'll automatically be able to emerge that power.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other thoughts? So tomorrow we will look into time and transformation. So we've looked into who am I, who is mine, my powers, and the next session is very interesting. It's about the whole journey of time, the whole concept of time. Is time linear or is time cyclic? What time we are in as a humanity, and where are we headed to? And how we can play our role in bringing about a beautiful new world, a world of soul consciousness. And through the practice of meditation, we can all be instruments to bring about that change. So we'll dive deep into understanding that this is the time of transition. As we can see, a negative energy spiraling down and the positive energy going up. The positive energy of spirituality and the negative energy of ego. And how to just be on the spiritual trajectory in this time. So this time has a blessing. Even if I make a little effort, I'll get 100-fold reward. It's a very interesting time we are in.
Om Shanti Saurabhai.
Om Shanti.
Power of discern मतलब क्या?
Power of discernment, the Hindi word is parakhna, parakh shakti. Just like a jeweler knows which is a true diamond and which is a stone. So in the same way, I can discern that a person, for example, I'm interacting with, what is their intention? I can also discern my own thoughts and understand what are positive thoughts, what are not. So the power to discern reality from illusion, power to discern whether I'm influenced by Maya, elusive energy, or I'm influenced by God's energy. So the power of discernment is very important actually. Because when I'm awake in my mind, then I can really discern. Discernment is like, it comes from clarity. When the intellect begins to function in truth, then I can discern the right from wrong, truth from false. Because many times what happens is we live in a gray zone. But discernment makes me realize either it is white or black. So I'm easily able to understand.
Thank you, Saurabh.
Any other thoughts or inspirations or any experiences anyone would like to share? Feel free to.
Shanti.
Om Shanti.
I really enjoyed the image, the graphic that you used with the to explain the fire of meditation, the magnifying glass onto the paper. And to show how when we do focus, we're able to focus, like laser focus through meditation and that connection with God, that God then removes the sin scars and the impressions from our past. That helped me to really kind of get a visual and totally understand what happened to me during my soul experience. And that 3 years following that, how through, and still today, but especially 3 years following that experience, how I was just changing and becoming a whole new different person. And so I understand, how that happened then. Because it was a process of removing and I guess purifying my soul.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. Very nicely put. That's what the process of meditation is, like a purification, elimination of the impure to emerge the pure within. Very nice. Any other thoughts? It's like I feel that these times are inspiring us to go more and more within and experience and take this time to really enhance the quality of my meditation and my relationship with God. The whole of humanity, this is the time now to move towards remembering God in an accurate way, in a real way, in a very living connection, not just talking or thinking about Him, but really experiencing His love.
One of my takeaways from it.
Sorry, said Dalaine?
One of my takeaways is since I'm not one who really meditates, this is all new to me. I liked when you mentioned that we should be thinking about how can I help God? And that gives me a great starting point. When I sit, meditate, where do I begin? And the relaxation part I have down. That's not a problem. But then my mind just kind of wanders. So I think if I go into it with thinking, what can I do or how can I help God, especially in these times, that's going to be very beneficial for me. So thank you for putting that out there and sharing it.
Yeah, that's true. It's time when God actually needs our help to spread His love in the world, and to be more compassionate towards every being and every person. Thanks. Anyone else would like to share? And we do meditation every evening from 6:30 to 7:30, and you're most welcome to join, where we experience all of this, what we are sharing and discussing now. So it's like a time that we can give to ourselves collectively every day and you're feel free to welcome to join whenever, even for a short period of time. It's no problem at all. Same number, Zoom. Yeah. Great. Any final thoughts? Okay. Thank you everyone for joining, your presence and your sharings, and we'll connect tomorrow again at 7:30. Feel free to join early if it's possible. Yeah. So,
Thank you. Thank you very much, Om Shanti.
thank you, and have a good night, everyone.
Thank you, Sarab.
Thank you.
Thank you. Om